Okay, so this is the first lesson of Heart of Algebra, and the standard it's addressing within Heart of Algebra is standard number 1, which is create, solve, or interpret a linear expression or equation in one or two variables. Now, before we get to examples, the first thing I want you guys to know is, first off, what is an expression? An expression is a bunch of terms consisting of variables and constants that are linked by mathematical operations, right? This does not have an equal sign. And the one thing in the directions you'll notice, it won't say solve, it'll say evaluate or simplify the expressions. Now, when we evaluate an expression, what we're basically doing is we substitute the value of the variables, and then we use correct order of operations to simplify the expression. We're basically breaking it down, the expression down to a single numerical value. And that's important to know. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this within the SAT. Strategy 1 is to input the expression in the calculator the exact way you see it on the exam. And when we substitute, we always substitute negative numbers, even positive numbers, using parentheses. Now, a second strategy for this is to just use what we call the store feature in the calculator. So we're going to do each of these using both methods, okay, on a couple of examples. Now, if simplifying this is a no calculator problem, you will have to know how to use correct order of operations to evaluate these expressions. So the first example says, given a equals 3, b equals -1, and c equals -2, what is the value of this expression here? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to replace the variables with their values. So this would be 2, open parentheses, 3, minus 7 times open parentheses -1, whoops, and then minus 6 times -2 all squared. Now, I could do this by hand, all right, probably quicker than a calculator by just using order of operations. 2 times 3 is 6. -7 times -1 is +7. Then -2 squared is +4. -6 times 4 is going to give me -24. And then I would get 13 minus 24 would give me -11, which is answer B. So if it was a no calculator portion of the SAT, that's how you would do it. But a lot of these allow you to just use the calculator. So all I'm going to do is go to the calculator, and I'm going to go 2, open parentheses, 3, close parentheses. Then I put the operation sign in, -7, open parentheses, -1, close parentheses, -6, open parentheses, -2, close parentheses. To get the exponent 2, I just hit that. When I go ahead and hit enter here, it spits out -11. So for the next example, right, they say if m equals -5 and n equals -8, evaluate the following expression. So what we're going to do is first on the paper, just real quick, show our substitutions. I'm going to replace m with -5, so 6 times -5 minus 3 times -8 squared minus 8. Now again, I could do this by hand, but if it's a calculator problem, I'm just going to go here and plug it in exactly the way I see it here. 6, open parentheses, -5, minus 3 times -8. Now it's all to the second power, minus 8. When I hit enter, I get -230, which is letter A. Okay. Now do me a favor, try example 3 and come back and check your answer. So when I show my substitutions here, it's 2 times. I'm replacing x with -2 all to the third power, plus 4 times y is 2, then minus 2 times z is negative 4 squared. I'm going to come over to my calculator and I'm going to plug that in. 2 times, 2, open parentheses, negative 2. Now to get to the third power, what I'm going to do is hit this caret key, which is the arrow pointing up here, and then go 3. Now I have to arrow to the right to get out of that exponent, and then I can go plus 4 times 2, and then minus 2 times negative 4 squared. Hit enter, and I get negative 40, which is letter A. Okay, so with these type of problems, you are better off just basically showing your substitution so you don't make mistakes, and then plugging it in exactly the way you see it. So we're going to step up the examples a little bit in terms of rigor. And when you look at the first example on the next page, this is what I would consider a tier 2 problem. It's a problem we should get, but it is going to be a little bit more complicated. It says, if x is equal to y minus 3, then y minus x all to the third is equal to what? Well, here's the thing. I don't know the value of x and I don't know the value of y, so I really can't jump in there and simplify. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this expression here and I'm going to rewrite it as y minus 3 is equal to x. All I did was take the right side, copy it down, put my equal sign, then my left side. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, make this be y minus x equals something. Okay, how do I do that? Well, if I go ahead and subtract x from both sides and I add 3 to both sides, what ends up happening is these 3's eliminate, so I get y. I subtracted x equals, the x's eliminate, and what do I have on this side now? 3. So now if I know y minus x is equal to 3, I come up here. What am I going to replace y minus x with? What is it equal to? 3, and 3 to the third power is, again, I can go to my calculator and I can go 3, raise it to the third power, hit enter, 27. Or I have to know that this is equivalent to 3 times 3 times 3, which gives me 9 times 3, which is 27. Okay. The next example. Given that x equals 2 and y equals 3, how much less is the value of 3x squared minus 2y than the value of 3y squared minus 2x? So if we come over here, first thing I'm going to do is evaluate this one by doing 3 times 2 squared minus 2 times 3. So 3, open parentheses, 2 to the second, minus 2 times 3 would give me 6. Now I'm going to come over here and simplify this. 3 times 3 squared minus 2 times 2. Come over here. 3 times 3 squared minus 2 times 2. Right away it gives me 23. So it says how much less is this? Well, to figure out basically the difference, right, what is 23 minus 6 going to give me? It's 17 units less. Okay. So number 3, let a pound b equal this for all integers a and b. Which of the following is the value of negative 2 pound 5? Well, if I look at this up here, right, a pound b resulted in this here. So if you look at it, you did 2 times a minus b, and then you squared it all. So basically in this equation, a is -2 and b is 5. So all I'm going to do is take this and say 2 times -2 minus 5 all squared. So I replaced a with -2, b with 5, and now I go to my handy dandy calculator. 2, oh, let me clear that, open parentheses, 2 times -2 minus 5, close parentheses again, plugging this in exactly the way I see it, all squared, hit enter, and I get 81, which is letter A. So example 4, Maria earns M dollars for every computer she puts together plus N dollars for every 15 minutes she works. If Maria worked 18 hours and put together 27 computers this week, which expression represents, right, how much she would earn for this week? Now, here's the thing I would make sure I do. Number one, the easy part of this is knowing that if she sold 27 computers, what would you do with 27 computers and the amount she makes per computer? You know you're going to multiply it. Basically, she sold 2 computers. She made 27 times 2, which would be $54. So if she sells M computers, it would be 27 times M. So right away, I'm just going to eliminate the answers that don't make sense. So now I've narrowed down my choices so that I have a chance at, it's a 1 in 3 chance versus a 1 in 5 chance. So what do I go to next? Well, I know I'm going to add how much she makes for every 15 minutes. Well, we know it's going to be like N dollars times something, right? Well, we know it can't be 18N because that's hours and she gets paid N dollars for every 15 minutes. So that answer doesn't make sense. Now, here's the thing, right? I have 72N or 9/2 N to worry about. And what you need to see is this is every 15 minutes. But if you remember, 15 minutes is equal to 1/4 of an hour. So this would be the same as doing 1/4 times N. So it's basically 1/4 of an hour times a number, the amount per 1/4 of an hour. So in this case, if she worked 18 hours, it'd be 1/4 times 18 times N. And if I multiply these together, it would give me 18 over 4 times N. That can be reduced to divide by 2, 9 over 2 N. So letter E would be your answer here. So now you're going to have a set of practice problems to try on your own. Go ahead, try them, and then always revert back to your notes to help you.